Yo, you listening to JayDBo radio? Did he say that? Nah, well, maybe so. But you still know it's all gravy, though. Around here, sometimes it get crazy, yo. But you know we keep it 100. He hide in the sky, but nah, he ain't blunted. And this here, everybody can't stomach. But trust me, y'all cats want it. It's JayDBo.
Yo, what up, people? It's your boy JayDBo. You know, once again, coming to you live from the O. You know what I'm saying? All sports, all the time. My boy DEV just laced it. Of course, again, I got my boy Freddie Stone producing the whole thing. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, before we get started this week, I do want to give a moment of silence to my man Wes Leonard in Detroit, Michigan. The young kid. I'm sure you heard about the young kid who made the game-winning shot, but then, unfortunately, within a minute, passed out on the basketball floor and lost his life. It was a terrible thing. You know, sports is really an interesting dynamic, man, and something like that can happen. So we're gonna give a moment of silence to my man, and then I tell you, all you parents, if you have kids or you got nieces and nephews, make sure you kiss the kids tonight before you go to bed. I mean, actually, after you watch the show, of course, but make sure you kiss and hug the kids and give them the love that they deserve. All right, thanks. So, hey, as we getting out of Black History Month, I just want to give a shout out to my man Wendell Scott.
Wendell Scott.
Wendell Scott. He was the first.
Richard Pryor.
Richard Pryor was a movie. Wendell Scott, Grease Lightning. Richard Pryor played the leading character. Wendell Scott was the first and only black man to ever win a race in NASCAR, and he actually won that race in Jacksonville Speedway in 1963. And you know, much props to him. Much love, Wendell Scott. We love you, bro. You set the way for a lot of brothers. So this week,
but before you go into that, was that a true? I mean, that's a true story. That Grease Lightning movie.
Oh, 100% true. Wendell Scott is a real life character who was, you know, started racing actually in 1961, and by 1963 had already won his first race in what was, you know, then NASCAR, now the Sprint Cup. Jimmy Johnson and all them Kyle Busch and them cats compete in. So yeah, man. I mean, you talk about discrimination. The race he actually won in Jacksonville, he was initially declared the loser, even though he had won by several laps, because the promoter did not want him to get the prize from the woman. Back in the day, they used to you know, the woman would come out and give him a kiss and present him with the trophy.
Right.
They didn't want to give him the trophy, so because the white man didn't want a black man kissing the white girl, so he declared him a loser. Hours later, they got it all resolved. He actually won the race, and that's the race we're talking about today.
Wow, crazy.
Right. So
I thought Richard Pryor was just doing Richard Pryor.
Nah, Richard Pryor was really laying it down with a real life story.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so this week we're gonna, you know, we talked to quite a few things. Well, obviously the NBA playoffs. We want to talk about NCAA. We're going to talk about the combine. As I talked about before, what's going on with the NFL, and then, you know, we'll wrap it with something real interesting that on 30/30 ESPN. I think you're gonna love it.
So what do you want to get to? You want to get into what was going on in NBA playoffs?
Yeah, so just as I look at the NBA playoffs, I mean, the East hasn't really come out with a real dominant team as of yet. I thought Boston would be the team, but they traded away your boy Kendrick Perkins last week. And I think they're going to see the effects of that. Obviously, Miami today, they had a big game in Miami and lost. I mean, they've lost the last 3 out of 4 games against the top 5 teams. I mean, they only beat the Lakers one time, against the Knicks, against all the powerhouse San Antonio, all the powerhouse teams. The Miami Heat haven't been able to put it together. So I don't know. I mean, you know, LeBron came on talking about he's not going to fail the team anymore in the last minute. Well, you know, who knows? I know if they don't get it together soon, we won't have to worry about the Heat. And the rest of the picture in the East is really unclear. Although today the Lakers showed they are the team to beat in the West. I thought, to be honest with you, that San Antonio was going to make some noise, but they blew them out today. At one point, it was a 30-point lead. You know, they blew them out by what, 19? I think was the final spread. So clearly, the Lakers are the team to beat. I thought that the Kendrick Perkins trade into Oklahoma City would really make a difference. But you know, he's been out, and they think he's going to be out for quite some time. And about a week ago, the Lakers smashed Oklahoma City. So in a 7-game series, it ain't gonna happen. So I got to go with the Lakers in the West. Who's going to come out of the East? I think is really, you know, you really don't know. Because no team has really stepped forward to really take that.
Let me ask you. So I know that there was a big trade, you know, back with you know, when LeBron unfortunately made everybody mad in Cleveland and left. Right. And who else won that big trade? I mean, they kind of recruited an all-star team to try to go out there and win this.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, Miami Heat added Chris Bosh as well as LeBron James. They all came together this summer. It was LeBron James, Chris Bosh as well as Dwayne Wade, and they thought that the big three, and they had this big production, and you thought that they were going to win the NBA championship, or at least compete. I never really, to be honest with you, they weren't going to win the NBA championship because they ain't strong enough down the middle. Bosh is not strong enough down the middle to win the NBA championship. But that was the talk, the big three. It sounded interesting, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And to be honest with you, until they get stronger down the middle, I don't think it's going to work. They did add Mike Bibby last week, who can help them at the point guard position. He's a better spot-up shooter than what they had before, but, you know, he obviously he didn't help this weekend. They got whacked. So there it is.
Right on. So now everybody looks at the Lakers and you know, I mean, I was with somebody over the weekend just chilling and everything. They talking about we root for Kobe, we root for the Lakers because quietly he seems to be the best player.
Oh,
is he really?
Best player? That's a tough call, man. I mean, there's so many different things. I think in terms of competitive nature and winning and being a clutch player, yeah, you got to give it to Kobe. I mean, Kobe, you know, he's a black mamba. You know what I'm saying? So you got to give it to him in that respect. There's a lot of great players, man. It's so varied. I mean, depending on position, I never really, well, let's be clear. It's hard to do it, but I will tell you the best player of all time. Now that one I could do. Personal bias is Magic Johnson. I mean, I just, you know, 6'9" point guard, he could play all 5 positions. You know, as a matter of fact, in his first NBA championship, he played all 5 positions in the series. So, you know, Magic is the man, without question. Kobe, it's hard to say.
Uh-oh, hold on, we got a call coming in right now.
Oh, we got a caller. Hold up, people. We got our caller.
Right, what's up? You on the line right now with the live on the JayDBo radio show, the Freddie Stone. Who we got on the line right now?
Garnett. What's up, Garnett? Holla at your boy.
Good. Hey, man, so what right now, Jay was just kind of running through some of the NBA playoffs, who's big in the East, the West. We're just talking about Kobe, a little bit about the, you know, what's going on down there, you know. So that's the topic that we had. What you calling in for, brother? What you want to ask the man in the chair?
For JD, I just want to get your feeling on the Heat. What's going on with the Miami Heat? Why are they not being able to close out the games? And what do you think they're going to do in the playoffs?
Right. I mean, Garnett wants to know. Garnett wants to know why the Heat aren't closing out games, which is obviously the subject we just covered. But to be frank, nobody's stepping forward. I mean, their big three has yet to determine who's going to be the guy. You got to have a guy. You cannot share that. And every team, there was always a guy. With the Bulls, there was Jordan. With the Lakers, there was Magic. Although he was distributed, there was Magic. With Boston, of course, you had Ray Allen taking the last shot or Paul Pierce taking the last shot. With Heat, they haven't really figured that out. Until they figure out who's going to take that last shot, I don't think they'll start winning those close games. You can't defer always. Somebody has to be aggressive to the ball, willing to take the last shot no matter what. That, I think, will solve their problem.
Now, Garnett, this is just one man's opinion. What do you think? You agree, disagree? What do you think?
Well, because, you know, the last 4 games, LeBron's taking the last shot. I mean, and, you know, he hasn't really come through with it. I mean, and then we got the addition of Mike Bibby. You think Mike Bibby's going to be the answer to their problems and go be able to distribute the ball between them? Because, I mean, you have Boston, when they went ahead and put their big two together, they actually made it work that first year. So, you know, we have to go ahead and build some chemistry and everything. But do you think Mike Bibby's going to be an answer to their problems and help them out in that situation?
Right. So Garnett's question is, do I think Mike Bibby will help him? Yes, I do think that Mike Bibby as a spot-up shooter will help him. But I mean, to be frank, Mike Bibby hasn't really proven himself in the NBA as the go-to guy. So I don't know if they changed anything. I think he gets him to a place where LeBron or D-Wade can take that final shot. If it were me, if I had to vote on that team in terms of the guy who takes the last shot, I'm going to say D-Wade. I mean, D-Wade has done it. He's carried him to an NBA championship before. And he's really shown that he can take the last shot and be effective in it. I mean, if you look at LeBron's career in the beginning of his career, he didn't want to take that. For the first 3 years, he didn't want to take the last shot. He was the one trying to pass it. So maybe he's forcing himself into that role, and it's maybe not a role he's comfortable with because obviously he's not converting the shot because today he missed the layup. So in my opinion, you go with D-Wade, but, you know, I'm not on that team. So
now Bibby, I mean, how do I know Bibby? I mean, was he in a championship? Wasn't he a star? Didn't he kind of do something a couple years back?
Okay. So Bibby come from the Sacramento. Well, you probably most know him at Sacramento Kings when they had him, Vlade Divac, Chris Webber, and then Mike Bibby is where you probably heard the name before. But it's been a couple years. He went to Atlanta and is really just kind of languished in mediocrity for the last few years. But he can shoot. So you know, now he's with the Heat. Maybe that'll solidify that situation and make it a better thing all the way around. So who knows?
Right on. Garnett, what you got?
I got one more question. So you had the future of local computing. Who would you go with? Chicago Bulls or Boston Celtics?
What was that? What was the question again? Sorry.
You had to pick between the two. It's going to come out of the East. Who would you pick? Chicago Bulls or Boston Celtics?
You know what? The question is, who do I think is going to come out of the East? Chicago Bulls or Boston Celtics? As I was saying earlier, I think the East is really unsettled. But between those two, if I can only pick between those two, then I'm going to say the Celtics because of their experience. I think experience is key, you know. I mean, and they're fierce competitors, and they all understand. I mean, you think about their starting rotation. I mean, Paul Pierce is still a killer, and I think he still has the ability to be an effective player. Garnett his intensity is incredible. Ray Allen, I mean, come on, he can shoot the lights out of the gym. The real problem that they have is that Shaq can't give them the minutes that they need. I don't know why they traded away Kendrick Perkins, and nor has Jermaine O'Neal really played for him. You can't win an NBA championship with Big Baby at the center position. It ain't gonna work. And so, you know, that's the real issue. But I like their experience against the Bulls. But if Shaq can't give them significant minutes, maybe the Bulls take it. You know, would be my answer.
Right on.
All right, Garnett. Hey, thank you, brother.
Call, brother.
Thanks.
All right, man. Have a good one. Right on, yeah.
So,
good question. Good question. Right on. All right, man. So, moving on to college basketball, Player of the Year.
Player of the Year, you know, I mean, I think it's a lot of interesting guys for Player of the Year. First, you have Kemba Walker out of UConn. He's an incredible point guard, quick, can shoot. I mean, this kid is just lighting it up. A fantastic player. Then you have Jared Sullinger out of Ohio State. Big. He's a freshman. You know, huge in the middle. Taking up space, lots of rebounds. He's a true space eater. So I think, you know, he's obviously a fantastic player. Then you have Nolan Smith at Duke, although Duke just got bumped off yesterday. North Carolina whacked those fools. And he wasn't able to do much. He, you know, without him able to penetrate and really do much off the dribble, I don't really see Duke being very successful. But I get the more interesting story is Jemmer Fredette. Obviously, this guy is unbelievable. I mean, he walks over half court. He's shooting the lights out of the gym. So, you know, he's an interesting candidate for Player of the Year, and I'm sure he gets a couple sentimental nods, you know, based on who he is, you know, guy from BYU. Obviously, and actually BYU this week has been in the news like nobody's business because, number one, Jemmer Fredette, his brother, I don't know if you knew this, but his brother is actually a rapper, and he laced up a little rap about his brother. I mean, he's, you know, he ain't gonna win a Grammy, but the rap, you know, it's all right. I mean.
Can you find it on YouTube or shoot?
Yeah, you can find it on YouTube. It's TJ Fredette, actually, and it's a rap about his brother. And it's a decent rap. I mean, yeah.
Everybody think they can make it.
Exactly.
I mean,
everybody.
I mean, put it down on wax. Go get yours. I ain't knocking that.
Exactly.
Okay.
But I mean, talk about anybody putting on wax. I mean, obviously, you know, we talked about the Kardashians last week. Your girl Kim just dropped a single this week. Jam. It's the worst thing you ever heard. Trust me. Oh, it's terrible. But the real issue is not so much her singing, is the fact that T-Pain turned people on to that auto-tune. I mean, everybody think they can sing now.
I'm gonna drop it down next.
Oh man, I'm going straight from this recording straight to the studio. You're gonna hear your boy JayDBo live in the color with a nice little joint next week. Trust me.